Kotaku truly is... Whoa. Kotaku truly is the gift that just keeps giving for channels like mine. It's like, oh, I don't have anything to talk about. Well, I usually respond to stupid people talking about gaming. Let's see what Kotaku's up to. I mean, it was only like a week or two ago that Kotaku was talking about how they want to have sex with Disney animals. Or maybe that was Polygon. It was one or the other, I get them confused. And number one on that list was Robin Hood, spoiler alert, which just made me uncomfortable because I grew up loving Robin Hood, and I still think Robin Hood is one of the best Disney movies, so it's just a little weird to know that there's a not zero number of people who want to have intercourse with the fox from Robin Hood. I guess he does kind of look like prototype furry, huh? Like, I mean, this movie's from like the 70s or the 80s, but like he looks like a prototype of fursuits, which I never noticed until just now. I'm gonna forget I said anything and just go back to watching that movie and enjoying it again. Anyways, I was made aware of today's article by a viewer, a fan of the channel, a friend of the me. Thank you very much for doing that. But this article is called 10 Things You Should Never Say to a PC Gamer, and it's one of those annoying like slideshow articles, so it's not a proper article. Which, I mean, positive for us there is that there's not going to be as many stupid words to read. But negative is that it's going to be really annoying to put on screen because it's just... But, you know, we can bear with it, we can get it together. The article begins thus: certified PC gamers tend to think they are the best of the pack, but our superior hardware comes at a price. Yes, everything comes with a price. That's how this works. Sure, part of that is hundreds of dollars of upfront costs, which can sometimes make console gaming look simpler and more appealing, but mostly I'm talking about how the community treats PC gamers like elitists. What, just because our games run better than yours? Also, there's an obvious typo here because you put a space before the comma, which is just fucking stupid. You don't put a space before punctuation. Kotaku. To make amends with gamers at large, I've devised a list of things you should never say to the PC community so we can all learn to get along. Please know that this is all in good fun. All hardware is valid. And then they go into the stupid slideshow. So, first slide. I bought my PC pre-built. Yeah, you should never say that to a PC gamer? Question mark? You should never tell a PC gamer that you got your PC pre-built. What? If you say this to a PC gamer, you will absolutely hear about how much time and money you could have saved by just building the damn thing yourself. I don't know about time. Like, you definitely save time buying the thing pre-built, but yeah, you save the money building it yourself, but also there's nothing inherently wrong with buying it pre-built. I'm willing to bet the majority of PC gamers got their first PC pre-built, because yeah, it's just simpler. It's easier to get into things when you don't have to put the whole thing together yourself. And a lot of people were like me, where you get your pre-built, and then you start replacing parts in your pre-built, you start understanding the hardware, you start understanding the way things work, and then you build your next PC, because now that you've switched out a few parts, you've opened that pre-built up a bunch of times and swapped a bunch of parts out, now you understand how things work and you're ready to do it yourself. Or you can just do it yourself out of the gate, because honestly, genuinely, it really is not hard to build a PC, but like, no level-headed PC gamer is going to come at you for buying a pre-built, because most of us have done that too. There's nothing wrong with it, you just have to be aware of the fact that they're going to be upcharged. Next slide. There are no differences between a console game and a PC game. Between lower game price points, better graphics options, more robust mod support, just to name a few things, this is simply not true. Yeah, I agree with that one. You probably shouldn't tell a PC gamer that console games and PC games run the same. It's literally not true, for one. And also, it's just, you're going to get a mouthful from the PC gamer about how much better the PC game is, because there are just inherently more things you can do with it. Any multi-platform game is going to be better on the PC. Like, the occasional buggy port launch aside, every multi-platform game is going to be better on the PC because of graphical options, because of the lack of hard caps on performance, or at least, you know, hard caps like 30 or 60 FPS. A lot of PC games do have caps on performance, when they'll have a maximum resolution or a maximum frame rate a lot of the time, but they're not going to be something like 30 or 60 or dynamic 1440p, you know what I mean? So yeah, don't tell a PC gamer that console games are the exact same, because they're just not. Next slide. I can't even see what difference 60 FPS or 4K resolution make. This is the entire reason people build PCs in the first place. I need to make my game look the best before I can start having fun. Oh boy. I can get behind the idea that people are building PCs for better frame rates. I cannot get behind the idea that PC gamers really at large are building PCs for 4K. I just don't see that happening. I read a whole thread on Reddit, I forget where, I wish I could put it on screen, but there was a really interesting thread on a subreddit that I follow about how 1080p is still like completely viable, especially in the current GPU market, and with how buggy modern games are getting, how demanding modern games are getting for high tier, or I guess high resolution performance, and how just a lot of people have been sticking with 1080p. Because I mean, let's be honest with each other, 1440p and 4K obviously look better than 1080p, but that doesn't mean 1080p looks bad. If I can find it, I'll put it on screen, but it was just a really interesting thread of a lot of people talking about how they've kind of gone back to 1080p, or how they're sticking with 1080p because it's just easier to support, and it's easier to, you know, crank frames on modern games and get consistent performance on modern games with older hardware. And I mean, I don't blame you. I don't know anyone who actually has built a PC specifically for 4K. You know what I mean? 4K is one of those things where, like, yeah, it's nice that it's there. It's nice that it's an option. And the PC is definitely more capable of reaching 4K than the consoles are by a fucking landslide. But you say it's the reason why people build PCs, and that's just not true. Again, I can get behind people building PCs for better frame rates. That's one of the reasons I switched to PC in the first place, was for better frame rates. Because that was back in the 8th console gen when 30 FPS was still apparently a fucking far off dream of HD games, apparently. But this idea that the whole reason people build PCs is for 4K and 60 FPS, like, do you actually play PC? Earlier in this article, you said that there were lower price points and graphical options, and like you alluded to a bunch of advantages of the PC that have nothing to do with graphics or frame rate. And now you're like, oh, graphics and frame rate are the only reasons people buy PCs, specifically 4K 60. Like, what? Next one. I'll just wait for the Switch version. My brother in Christ, have you heard of Steam or the Steam Deck? What if you didn't have to wait years for a port of the most interesting games around? Is this a thing people say? A game comes out and they're like, I'll just wait for the Switch port. I've never heard anyone say that. I've never heard a single person say that. I mean, I guess there's people out there who choose to game on the Switch and only the Switch, and I guess it makes sense for them to wait for a Switch port because they're not going to buy the game on any other hardware anyways. But like, is this an interaction that happens frequently between Switch gamers and PC gamers? Like, does it frequently happen where a PC gamer is like, hey, look at this game, and someone's like, I'll wait till the Switch port. Like, is that frequent enough of an exchange to be in this article? Next one. I use a controller instead of keyboard and mouse. Okay, auto aim. You don't want to pull this out in your Overwatch 2 or Call of Duty match. It'll bring out some bad characters. Fucking Christ. Okay, first of all, a lot of people use controller on PC. I use controller on PC. Not in shooters, just because I prefer playing shooters with mouse and keyboard. But third-person games, yeah, I prefer using a controller on my PC. A lot of PC gamers use controllers. I'm willing to bet most PC gamers use controllers for at least some games. But you know how I know that you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about here? You say you don't want to pull this out in your Overwatch 2 match. Overwatch doesn't have aim assist on controller for comp games on PC. So this like, okay, auto aim, there literally is an auto aim. So yeah, just scream louder that you have no clue what you're talking about. Next one. Any keyboard is fine, to be honest. The second top reason anyone builds a computer to eventually get into mechanical keyboards. And let me tell you, the clickety-clack of every switch you can pick makes a huge difference, even if it's only in how loud my typing will sound. Do you just walk around Best Buy and you're like, oh, that's a cool PC thing? I understand now. I bet you don't even do that at Best Buy. I bet you do it in Target. Like, cause Best Buy actually has a bunch of PC stuff. Target has like one aisle, I mean, like maybe 3/4 of an aisle dedicated to PC stuff. Like, I bet you just came home from Target and you looked at the PC stuff and you were like, man, I get it now. Except no, you don't. The second top reason anyone builds a PC is for mechanical keyboards. Dude, get real. Next one. How many launchers do you use? There's only Steam, Xbox Game Pass, that's not a launcher, GOG Galaxy, Epic Games Store, Battle.net, Origin, the Rockstar Games launcher, the Windows Store, oh my god. Riot Client, Uplay, the Bethesda launcher, Itch.io, maybe console games have the right idea after all. Look, having a whole bunch of launchers is annoying, sometimes, but since the rise of SSDs, it's really not even a problem anymore. Like the whole thing about launchers being annoying and obnoxious, like, oh, why are there so many launchers? The reason why a lot of PC gamers were saying that before, or at least in my opinion and in my experience, was because back before SSDs were commonplace, yeah, it would be annoying to switch launchers because a lot of them were unoptimized and would take forever to open. But now that you have SSDs, it's like, oh, I'm playing a game on Steam, but now I want to play a game on Battle.net. Okay, boop, Battle.net. 10 seconds later, I'm booting the game. So like, it truly is not a big deal anymore now that load times have been improved. Like, I truly don't have a problem with having multiple launchers anymore. I used to be annoyed by having multiple launchers, but now I literally don't care because I have an SSD. But you're also ignoring the fact that because of all those launchers, we have lower game prices, you know? We have all these launchers competing for our attention and competing for our business, which means we have cheaper games and better services across the board. So, thanks for ignoring that, I guess. Next one. Let's play a couch co-op game together. Yep, there it is. Most likely, the answer will just be no, since local multiplayer isn't as common around these parts, so you're better off just not asking. Plus, how am I supposed to sit in my gamer chair that's designed to look like a race car while using the top-of-the-line mouse when we're in front of a TV? I hate to break it to you, but there are way more local multiplayer games on the PC than there are on the modern consoles. And I'm pretty sure than the last gen consoles as well, because the last gen consoles were kind of shitty at that. Like, a lot of console dudes want to use local multiplayer as a big selling point, but they're completely oblivious to the fact that not only has the PC surpassed you, but your local multiplayer capabilities have taken a complete nosedive in the last decade. Because consoles are way more concerned with pushing the cutting edge graphics, and that means you gotta cut the multiplayer, cut the co-op, cut the local multiplayer, cut the split screen. We gotta save every fucking one of those 30 frames that we still have. Meanwhile, if you go to Steam and look at local multiplayer, it's a fucking smorgasbord. Like, just go to Steam and look at local multiplayer. There's so many options. This comment about how, like, oh, how am I supposed to sit in my gamer chair with my mouse in front of a TV? How do you not know you can use a controller? But I thought you did know that, because earlier in the video you said you do know that, you just shouldn't do it. How much longer is this? Okay, we're almost done. Next one. Can I play this game on a Mac? Can I Google that for you, you filthy MacBook user? Except you, Whoopi Goldberg, we love you. Hey, did you know Whoopi Goldberg tried to say the Holocaust wasn't about race? Whoopi Goldberg is kind of an awful person. Yeah, no one is going to get mad at you if you ask if there's a Mac port of a game. A lot of PC gamers have Mac products. Like I have a gaming PC and I have a MacBook for my work, for my travel. And yeah, a selling point of a game for me at least is going to be whether or not I can play it on my MacBook when I'm on a plane or on a train. In the air, do you care? On the sea, can't you see? That one didn't rhyme. Like, you're talking about PC gamers, right? PC gamers, people who play on a platform whose entire thing is variety and options and giving the consumer more options. And you really think those people are going to get mad at you if you ask if there's an additional option? Like, really? Okay, finally, the last one. PC ports suck. The truth is the truth, but it's not nice to say it. Lately, it's more common for a AAA game to release in a somewhat broken state on PC than it is for things to just work. I am so tired of hearing this. Yes, there is the occasional buggy port on PC, there's the occasional broken port on PC, but you know what launches completely fine 95% of the time? PC games. And also, you know what's going to run better than the console counterpart 95% of the time? A shitty PC port. That's the ultimate irony of this. And you know it's going to get fixed within a month or so of launch, so if you just wait a few weeks, you can just buy it on sale and then have the exact same experience. PC games. Was that a complete sentence? I forget if that was a complete sentence or not. The point is, while yes, there are more buggy launches and buggy ports on the PC than there are on the console, they're usually things that aren't actually holding you back from surpassing the console's performance anyways. And if there are game-breaking technical issues, they're almost always going to be fixed within a matter of weeks. And since there are way more games to play on the PC, it's not like you're going to be it's not like there's going to be a shortage of things to do while you're waiting for a game to get patched up, and then you can buy the game on on sale after it is patched up, or you can buy a key at a dramatic discount. I'll never understand this. I mean, I'm old enough to remember how fucking garbage Cyberpunk and Fallout 76 were on the console, and pretty much every Call of Duty game in the last 6 years on the console, and Battlefield 2042 on the console, and fucking Redfall on the console, and fucking Forspoken on the console. It's like, are we just not supposed to talk about these things? Like, there's buggy launches on both platforms, but the difference is that when a game launches buggy as shit, or underwhelming as shit, or with a bunch of technical problems on the console, it really doesn't matter how many of those bugs get fixed, because even when they do get fixed, you're still gonna get hard capped at like 30, 40, maybe 60 FPS. Whereas on the PC, buggy launch, I wait a few weeks, and then I have the normal PC experience with it, at a discount. When a game runs like shit on the PC, we don't give it a pass. That's what the Steam user reviews are there for. Ugh. Thank God we're done with that. Okay, goodness gracious. I don't even know how to end this video. I have to take my cat to the vet right now. He's okay. He's okay. It's not Bonnie, by the way. I know some of you guys know Bonnie. Bonnie's doing absolutely okay. We have another cat named Huxley, and he needs to go to the vet. So I'm gonna take him to the vet. He is absolutely okay. I promise. I promise. Okay, toodles.